Want to see more cool videos on our channel? We do, so press this bell and enable to send notifications.
The unknown doesn't tend to stay unknown. After all, there are quite a few very smart people out there, constantly endeavoring to document and understand our world and its mysteries. Often, they're the ones to turn to when something seems inexplicable. We rely on experts for answers, but sometimes they're as baffled as we are when strange phenomena are encountered. Whether they're objects or events, such phenomena remain puzzling until they're identified and understood, if they ever are. Number 5. Strange Magnetic Lake. Most tourists come to Aurangabad to visit the Ajanta and Ellora UNESCO World Heritage Sites, but never make it as far as Lonar. Lonar Lake is located a 4 hours drive from Aurangabad in the Buldana district in the state of Maharashtra, Western India. It's not visited by many tourists because many people are unaware of this beautiful and mysterious place. In November 2004, NASA's Terra satellite acquired a great image of the mysterious lake. Scientists have long been puzzled by the strange electromagnetic disturbance in this area and have tried to find a cause. The lake's water is not normal, and the lake itself appears to be completely misplaced. NASA scientists and Geological Survey of India officials have long wondered how Lonar Lake can exist and what's wrong with it. Lonar Lake is approximately 150 meters or 500 feet deep, with an average diameter of almost 1,830 meters, 6,000 feet. The perfectly circular lake shows evidence of higher magnetic readings than the surrounding area. Lonar Lake has triggered scientists and officials to attempt answers to questions like, why is the lake alkaline and saline at the same time? Why does it support microorganisms rarely found elsewhere on Earth? Why do compasses fail to work in certain parts of the crater? And what lurks at the bottom? Geologists suggested that the lake could in fact be a meteor impact crater. Objects that come from space are generally more electromagnetic than material that they strike on terrestrial Earth. While examining the lake and water, local geologists found minerals and rock fragments that are formed when high-pressure, high-temperature metamorphism occurs. Scientists discovered unusual minerals like mascalinite, a kind of naturally occurring glass that is only formed by extremely high-velocity impacts. It is the Earth's largest and only hypervelocity impact crater in basaltic rock, and this beautiful Lake Lonar can be described as a little-known astronomical marvel on Earth. Number 4. Arctic Ice Holes. While flying over the eastern Beaufort Sea as part of NASA's Operation Icebridge, mission scientist John Sontag made photos of something he had never seen before on April 14th. Odd, crater-like holes in the ice. Holes they had never seen anything before, unlike anything existing in the Arctic. While experts agree the sea ice in the photograph is thin and likely young, since it is a gray color indicating there is little snow, what made the holes is a mystery. Meyer, a scientist at the National Snow and Ice Data Center, thinks it unlikely this is a result of a fragmented meteor strike, since the holes are so close together. At first, one likely explanation was thought to be seals, since they are known to gnaw through the ice for breathing holes and sometimes haul themselves onto the ice to rest. If these holes are less than 2 meters in size, then the encircling features may be due to waves of water washing out over the ice when the seals surface. Another possibility is warm water upwelling, because this part of the Beaufort is quite shallow. But Dartmouth College sea ice geophysicist Don Purovich doesn't think so, because the effects would be broader, he says. He went with the seal hypothesis. My guess is a seal pushed ice out of the way to make a hole, and thus also made the ice around the hole thicker. But after returning from another long day flying over the Arctic ice, Sontag said on Tuesday that the mysterious holes are several meters in size, perhaps even tens of meters. That would seem to rule out the seal hypothesis. Thus, given the size, they were more likely caused by bowhead whales punching up through the thin ice to breathe, says Sue Moore, senior scientist at the NOAA Fisheries Office of Science and Technology. Number 3. Giant Tsunami. In April 2003, NASA's flagship Terra satellite picks up a frightening image from South China Sea. It looks like one of the largest tsunamis ever, and it's headed straight to Hong Kong, a city of 7 million people. To see a wave on a satellite even with modern technology of satellites, means that wave had to be pretty damn big. There wasn't just one wave either. There is a whole series of them. Experts measured the main wave at the time and concluded it was more than 500 feet tall, 10 times the size of the Indian Ocean tsunami that killed at least 230,000 people. When we think of a big tsunami, we would think the waves would be tens of feet, or a big one would be 30 or 50 feet, or something like that. But do you know that we have waves in the ocean that are up to 2,000 feet high? That's as big as skyscrapers. Then, something extraordinary happened. The wave never hits land. The giant tsunami vanished from satellite images. Scientists were reportedly baffled when the apparent tsunami suddenly vanished into thin air, prompting a flurry of conspiracy theories as to what happened. Was this just a technical error? Modern-day satellites contain a huge number of very sensitive instruments. When we are launching into space or getting them online, a lot of things can happen. But systems on the Terra satellite are constantly being checked, and all are working fine. Wild speculation starts to spread. Could the huge waves be man-made? Or a test, perhaps? Some kind of underwater weapon? Some claim that such a weapon has been used before to attack Japan, but there are a few experts who believe that the 2011 tsunami that knocked out the Fukushima nuclear power plants may have been man-made. During the Second World War, 2 scientists from the US and New Zealand conducted a series of tests in which underwater explosions were used to trigger giant tidal waves capable of destroying coastal cities. Are these waves the result of such kind of prototype weapon? And what's more puzzling is a tsunami tends to increase its velocity until it smashes into land. Why did this one vanish? Number 2. Largest stranding ever. Scientists made a startling discovery on an observation flight over a remote fjord in southern Chile's Patagonia. 337 dead whales. That is the biggest single whale stranding event known to science. Because of the remoteness of the area and the roughness of the seas, scientists have not been able to examine the whales directly, but aerial and satellite photography identified 305 bodies and 32 skeletons in an area between the Gulf of Piñas and Puerto Natales, toward the southern tip of the continent. The scientists are still trying to figure out what caused the die-off, and the Chilean government has launched an investigation since whales are protected there. But based on their size and location, lead scientist Carolina Simone Gustin said that they are probably sei whales. Endangered throughout its range, sei whales can reach 64 feet, 19.5 meters long, and 50 tons. Considered the fastest cetacean, sei whales can swim at speeds up to 31 miles, 50 kilometers per hour. Scientist Nelson considers what type of predator could take down these colossal beasts. There is one marine mammal which will actively hunt and kill a large whale, and that's the orca, or killer whale. Orcas are only around a third of the size of the sei whales, but their brains are much bigger. They work like a pack of wolves in the sea. Yet, when scientist Haley Chamberlain studies the image, she contests the killer whale theory. She feels with the sheer number of whales that have been stranded here, the killer whale theory is very unlikely. Investigators examine cases of other weird whale mass deaths and discover a common factor: war games. There is no doubt that military operations can and do cause some strandings. Nelson reveals that in July of 2011, British naval planes engaged in bombing practices over a small island in Cape Wrath, Scotland, and missed their targets. 3 wayward 1,000-pound bombs splash down in the middle of the ocean and detonate on the sea floor. You can only imagine what effect an explosion like that would have on an animal like a whale, who are very sensitive, using their sonar to listen and hear its environment. It would be like getting hit in the head with a baseball bat. Deafened and confused, 39 pilot whales beached themselves on the shore. The event has eerie parallels with the one in Patagonia. While biologists reach the isolated coves to study the whales up close, they find no evidence of internal damage associated with military testing. But the stomach sample yields a clue: the presence of microorganisms known to cause a toxic algal bloom called red tide. When shellfish feed on the algae, they accumulate deadly neurotoxins in their tissues, and a toxic time bomb enters the food chain. Number 1. Moving Island. On August 1, 2012, A pilot of a passenger jet flying over the Pacific Ocean almost 500 miles away from New Zealand found something strange in the water below. Taking a closer look, the pilot was shocked. It's an island. There are around 25,000 islands in the Pacific, but that's not what made this discovery shocking. The area where he saw the island is supposed to be open ocean. There shouldn't be anything for hundreds of miles. Investigators immediately consult scans of the area by satellite, and their suspicion was true. Something has materialized in the middle of nowhere. Where would it come from? What actually are we looking at? Whatever this thing is, or wherever it came from, it is more than 200 miles long. When analysts compare the area of the pilot's sighting with the latest satellite images, they discover something disturbing. Whatever the object is, it appears to be moving. But islands don't move. On August 9th, a full week after the discovery of the strange sight, New Zealand Navy dispatched a ship to study the strange phenomenon. When they reached there, they saw a unique sight that looks like mud or some kind of stones just floating on the surface of the water. But how? The very concept of a giant mass of rocks moving across the ocean seems to defy the laws of physics, but it's real. Some suggest that the island was formed of pumice, a type of lightweight stone-like material that are formed when underwater volcanoes eject lava into water. Is this giant anomaly a formation caused by billions and billions of pumice stones floating on the ocean surface? Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoy the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch up my next video.